Okay, now that we have finished our card holder box, we need to make the little mini file folders that are going to go inside the box that will hold our cards. And we're going to be making 4 of these. However, I'm not going to take the time to show you how to make each one individually, because once you've made one, you know how to make the other 3. So what you're going to need for this is your scoreboard or a ruler and a bone folder, and you're going to need some cardstock, your pattern cardstock, whatever you're going to use to coordinate with your box. And that's good, I've pushed it over. So you see I've picked this, basically the line that goes along with this. So you're going to cut 2 sheets of 12 by 12 double-sided pattern paper to measure 6 inches by 8.5 inches. Okay, so you're going to get 2 pieces out of one 12 by 12 inch double-sided patterned cardstock. And once you've got those cut out, you're going to lay it on your score board, and with the long edge at the top, that's the 8.5 inch long edge, and you're going to score it at 4 inches in the center. Okay, now you're going to be making 4 of these, so you can take all 4 of your pieces, cut them out all at once, then take them and score them all at once and be done with that. Once you have that completed, then you're just going to take it and fold it along the score line. And I'm going to move my scoreboard out of the way for this part and give it a good crease along the bottom. Now you're going to notice something. Up here at the top, you notice when you close it, it's uneven. There's about a 1/2 inch space at the top above the flap. That's okay, you want that. So now you want to put the tabs onto this, and if I go back and show you my example again, here's my example. That's not my example. Here's my example. Okay, and you notice we've got the nice tab at the top, and there's also another tab at the bottom. Might be a little difficult to see on the video because the papers are about the same color, but that's what we're going to have. And we're going to make 2 like this. So these instructions work for both of these little mini file folders. So grab your envelope punch board, and if you remember, in your envelope punch board I told you about the center post that's in here, okay, right down in there. That's important because what you're going to do is you're going to take this top edge of your card, okay, stick the left top edge in the center of that post, okay, and I know you can't see it on camera, but if you look inside you can pretty much mark it up. So the center of that post, punch it. Then you're going to move it over, and you see you've got this little edge right here. You're going to move that little edge over to the 2.5 inch mark on the envelope punch board, okay, and give it another punch. There we go. And so now you see we have the beginning of our tab. Now you're going to take the whole thing and flip it over just like that. Let me do that again. Okay, don't swing it, flip it over, and you're going to do exact same thing. Line up that left top edge with the center of the post in the punch, punch it, go over 2.5 inches on the envelope punch board, punch it again, pull it out, close it up, and you have this. But what we want to do now is we want to get rid of this long piece here and this long piece down here to make it look like this. So easy enough to do. All you have to do is grab your cutting board, your paper trimmer, or you could do this with scissors, okay? Get it in the shot here. Open it up, and then depending on how your paper trimmer lines up, you want to line up the blade so that you're going to slice this piece right off there. And pull that off, and then just flip it over and do the same thing along that other edge. And done. And as I said, you can use scissors with this if you wish. If you get any little pieces floating here, you can do what I'm doing, pick them off, or if you've got one of these handy dandy little sander blocks from Tim Holtz, you can give it a little bit of a sand there, and that will take those rough edges off. Okay? Now, you will want to use your ink, black ink, and an ink applicator, and just do what we've done on the edges of the little pieces that went around the outside of the box, and that's just to ink them, just to give them a little bit of definition. Okay. The last thing you want to do, actually the thing you want to do before you do the inking, is you want to get your envelope punch board back again, or a corner rounder. And on this side of the punch board, you know this is a corner rounder, so you just stick one edge in, punch it, do the same with the other, and that finishes up right off for us very nicely. Okay, so you want to make two like this. So what you have will be two, and here's my other one right here, two exactly the same. Now what you can do, I told you to do this on double-sided paper. Alright, the reason being is, if you want, you can just fold it the other way, and that'll give you a different surface, so you have a variety in your card holder pack. However, if you notice what I just did now, I just showed you how to create the mini file folder that has the tab at the bottom or at the right far edge. So you see, so to make a third file folder for your box, you simply follow the instructions I just gave you for making this one with the tab at the left top corner, and then once you've punched it all out, you just take it, turn it inside out, and you've got the tab at the bottom. So that leaves us with the next piece, which is to put a tab in the middle. Now I'll show you on a prototype here. Actually, you're going to see my cheat sheets. This is a cheat sheet. I make these all up and write the instructions on the side of the card, keep them for future memory. So here we want to put a center tab. So we're going to take that 6 by 8.5 sheet that we've scored at 4 inches. We're going to fold it. We've got that space at the top, and using our punch board this time, what we're going to do is take this left top edge and place it at 1 7/8 mark on the envelope punch board. Punch it, and then move that edge again down to 4.5 inch mark on the punch board, and punch it. Then, just as we did with the other file folder, we're just going to flip it over and do exactly the same thing. We're going to put it at 1 7/8 and punch, and then move that edge over to 4.5 and punch. And now this time, when we do the trimming, let me get the cutting paper trimmer again. Okay, this time we're going to remove this little piece and this little piece, or the two little pieces on either side of the tab, to make the tab stand out. So again, lining it up in your trimmer to get it as close to that edge as you can, and then slide it, cut it. Okay, now if you get too much here and this bothers you, you can just slice it down again. Just take your scissors or use your trimmer for it. That doesn't really bother me, so I'm not going to worry about that. And you know, you're going to find that depending on how accurately you can get it lined up in your trimmer, that may happen, and that's okay. And so we do that again, and there we go. And now we have our middle one. So if I'd made all three, I would have one with the tab at the top, then we have one with the middle tab, and then we have one, oops, at the bottom. And then it's your choice what you really want to do at this point. You can either make another one that's going to have the tab at the top, another one's going to have the tab at the bottom, or you could make another one with the center tab and put the two in between. It's up to you. It doesn't really matter. Okay? When you're finished all of this again, once again, round the corners with the corner rounder or with the corner rounder that's provided on the envelope punch board, and you've got them done. And also make sure you ink them all the way around the edges so they'll stand out. Okay? When I come back, I'm going to talk about the cards that we're going to put inside them, how to make those. Okay, now it's time to make our actual cards that are going to go into the card holder. And in front of me I have 3 out of 4 cards that we're going to be making. But before we make the cards, we need to just create the basic foundation card, and I'm going to show you how to do that. So you're going to need a sheet of 8.5 by 11 inch off-white standard cardstock right here. So 8.5 by 11. Now I use off-white because I distress the edges on most of my cards, and because I'm going to be using pattern paper on the front of the card, this makes a nice neutral border. So you're going to take this and you're going to cut it in half along the 11-inch edge, and you're going to cut it 5.5 inches across. That's going to give you 2 pieces this size. And then all you're going to do is simply take that, fold it in half, and give it a good score. Now or a good crease. Now you could do this with your scoreboard if you wish. You want to be more precise, but for something this size, I don't think it's really that difficult just to fold it in half and use your bone folder. Okay, once you have that done, then all you need to do is round the corners. Again, I'm going to use the envelope punch board for this with the corner rounder built into it. However, you could do this with just an ordinary corner rounder itself. And I like to round all 4 corners. It's your choice if you want to round them at the seam or not, but I just like the look for this particular project. And you can do it doubled up. This will handle the cardstock doubled up. So punch and punch, and the last one. So there we have our basic foundation. Now what I like to do is to ink the edges. I like the distress look. Lots of people seem to like that, so we'll just ink up the ink applicator, and we're just going to go all the way around the edges of the card. And we're going to open it up inside as well and do a similar thing. And I don't know, some people get really upset if they go off the line, they get a little bit on inside the card. I don't know, I think it adds to the character of the card. And since I'm going to be covering most of this up anyways with pattern paper, it doesn't really matter. It just finishes off the edges. Okay, done. Next thing you're going to make 4 of these in the same manner. Okay. Now you're also going to need a little plate to put on the front of each card. So you're going to take your double-sided cardstock that you've used for the box and for the mini file folders, and just to keep things coordinated, and you're going to cut out 4 pieces that measure 1/4 inch less than our dimensions here. Our dimensions with the card folded are 5.25 inches this way by 4.25 inches this way. So we're going to cut this piece 1/4 inch less, so 5 inches this way. Sorry, this is 5.5. Sorry, not 5.25. Mixed up. You're going to cut this 5.25 across by 4 inches this way. And then again, you're going to get out your corner rounder, and you're just going to round each corner. And then you're going to distress the edges with a little ink. I use black. You can use any color that it suits your purposes. I like black because you always have black, and it basically goes with anything. And you're just giving it a little bit of a shadow effect anyways. So I think the black works. Works for me. Okay. Then all you're going to do is adhere this to the center of the card, and you can use any kind of adhesive that you like. I'm particularly fond of the Tombow Permanent. I find it sticks very well, and I put on a fairly generous supply of it since the card is going to be handled, and mount that just into the center of the front panel so you can get as even a border around as you can. You just eyeball it, and there you go. So now you'll have 4 of these. And when I return, I'll show you how to do the insides and how to embellish the cards.